let me start by making a statement that will make a lot of you uncomfortable. On the top, you're looking at Bitcoin, obviously, the so-called hardest money of the digital age. And when we talk about Bitcoin, we're really talking about, all kind of cryptocurrencies, right? At the bottom, you are looking at silver, the most historically suppressed monetary metal on Earth. And yet, Bitcoin has broken its long-term uptrend. Silver is in a well-intact parabolic advance. Can you see that? One is breaking the line, the other one isn't. That alone should stop you cold. Because for the last decade, investors were told a very simple story. Bitcoin replaces gold because it's a hedge against inflation. Bitcoin replaces gold for the same reason. And Bitcoin absorbs all monetary demand. And markets don't care about narratives. Markets care about liquidity, confidence, and trust. That's what you need. This whole thing is based on these three things. And this chart is screaming for something has changed. What does this broken long-term uptrend really means? Let's be precise here. This is not a short-term pullback. This is not a weekly shakeout. This is not a healthy correction. Bitcoin has violated a multi-year trend line that define its entire post-2022 recovery. Long-term uptrends are not arbitrary lines. They represent persistent capital commitment. When that line breaks, it means marginal buyers are exhausted. Liquidity is no longer expanding. Risk tolerance is declining, and reflexive upside momentum has failed. And most importantly, it means that Bitcoin is no longer leading. Every major bull market in Bitcoin history has shared one feature. Bitcoin leads first and everything else follows later. These are the type of views that I want you to get. I want you to start understanding. When I say you, I'm talking about subscribers. I'm talking about my members. I'm talking about my Patreon members as well, which there are many now. Every day, you guys want to hear from me. What do I think is happening? I'm not telling you, buy this or sell that. Not very often. What I tell you most of the time is be careful about this and be careful about that, and protect yourself against this and protect yourself against that. When you want to cross the street, you want to make sure first you don't get run over. And right now, this is going to be a problem. Bitcoin is no longer leading. Every major bull market had Bitcoin led first. This time, Bitcoin broke first. So this is not bullish leadership. This is not a distribution behavior. This is a distribution. Why Bitcoin is losing momentum now, right? That's a big question. What's going on? Well, ask yourself the real question. Why now? Why would Bitcoin lose momentum after ETFs, after institutional adoptions, and after regulatory clarity, right? This year, Bitcoin, say, and cryptocurrency, go to town, people. In the US, the coast is clear. Because those things don't matter as much as what people think. Bitcoin is not just a relief or a belief system. It's a liquidity-sensitive asset. And liquidity is tightening in ways most investors don't want to admit. One, real rates remain restrictive. Global dollar liquidity is fragmented. Treasury issuance is absorbing capital, and for risk premium are quietly rising. Bitcoin thrives in excess liquidity environments. Silver thrives in monetary stress environment. That is how you need to start looking at commodities. A stress indicator. And that difference explains everything you are seeing on the screen. Now, look at the bottom panel. Silver. No broken line. No loss of momentum. No structural failure. Instead, you see something rare. A well intact parabolic advance. This is not speculative fraud behavior. This is not a monetary. This is a monetary repricing behavior. Silver does not move like this unless something deeper is happening. Historically, silver goes parabolic when confidence in fiat erodes, inflation proves sticky, monetary credibility weakens, hard assets demands broadens. Silver is not chasing narratives. Silver is responding to systemic stress. And unlike Bitcoin, silver does not need leverage, optimism, or digital rails to function. It simply exists. So the critical difference between Bitcoin and silver, and that no one wants to talk about, is that Bitcoin is a confidence-based asset. Silver is a necessity-based asset. Are you positive or negative? If you're positive, then go for Bitcoin. I don't see too many people doing that right now. That is what it's telling you. That's what we can tell. Bitcoin is a confidence-based asset, while silver is a necessity-based asset. Bitcoin depends on continuous inflows, market confidence, functional liquidity plumbing, regulatory tolerance. Silver depends on industrial demand, monetary hedging, physical scarcity, global trust erosion. So in terms of expansion, Bitcoin outperforms. And in terms of stress, silver survives. And the market is clearly telling you which phase we are entering. So why is this a warning, not a coincidence, right? So let me be very clear. This divergence is not random. Whenever you see risk assets losing structure, hard assets gaining momentum, parabolic metals with broken crypto trends, it signals capital rotation, not growth. Capital is not leaving markets. It is changing its objectives from maximum upsides to minimum regret. This is the psychology behind silver's move, right? Not speculation, not hype, preservation. That's what's that. So what happens next if this continues? That's a big question. Well, volatility will expand. So if Bitcoin fails to reclaim this broken trend, volatility will expand. Confidence will fracture. Leverage will unwind. Narratives will collapse. Meanwhile, if silver maintains its parabolic slope, price discovery accelerates. Physical shortages intensify, and industrial demands competes with investment demand. The gold-silver ratio compresses violently. This is how monetary regime shifts begin, quietly, before the headlines, before the consensus. So the final message is this. This chart is not telling you to abandon Bitcoin. It's telling you something far more important. Bitcoin is no longer the only monetary signal. Silver is speaking, and when silver speaks loudly, it is because trust in the system is cracking. Broken uptrends don't lie. Parabolic advances don't lie. The question is not whether Bitcoin will bounce. The question is, what is the market preparing for? Because right now, hard money is outperforming hard narratives, and that should make everyone pay attention.